Hello and welcome back. It's Giuseppe, inventor of B-positive. This video is going to cover the 20 top feelings in B-positive. Just so that you know, this list is not exhaustive. We have as many thoughts as feelings, and there's thousands. All right, so the list wouldn't even fit on this board. But these are the top 20 we tend to use most of the time. Okay, based on not only the testers that we had, but just over time. If you ever listen to people talk and express their feelings, listen, they're telling you what their feelings are. Hell, you're even telling people what your feelings are. You may not be aware of them. You will after you be using Be Positive, which that's the whole point, right? Is to get you to understand your feelings, not only to identify them or label them these days. We're very into labels these days. Is to really to get you to be aware that they exist. And the more that you're in tune with them, the better you are. Now, the 20 feelings are divided into green and red. But no, don't be mistaken. It's not right or wrong feelings. All the feelings we have matter, or we wouldn't have them in the first place. Okay? All feelings matter. All of them, regardless of what they are. So they're all telling us something. And the reason I designed it to be green and red, we're so used to anybody who drives a car, we know, right? Green, yellow, red. But the whole point between green and red, the sharp contrast, is to identify the differences and the energy levels behind them. Not that they're bad feelings, good feelings. And, I want to stop people to, or at least get them to consider thinking about absolutes. Absolutes get you in trouble. Absolute words like all or not and everybody, them and they and she, they're not, they don't identify anything unless you're actually, it's better off to name the thing that you're talking about versus just, So this is not any and all. These are our feelings, and they all matter. So let's get into it. So you notice love is at the top. Fear is at the bottom. Now this is a descending and ascending scale, and I'll explain that in a minute. So you have love and you have fear. Now, the feeling scale is based on these two feelings. Okay, this is the scale. So anything in red are based out of fear, anything in green are based out of love. Okay, that's the two feelings, fear and love. Love and fear. Either way, doesn't matter how you put them. Now, but as you go down the scale, you notice it's a double arrow, so it goes down as well as up. We're going to go down first, okay? So let's say, man, you wake up today and you're feeling love right now. You're like, woohoo, man, I just got it. I'm the man, I'm the woman, whatever that is, man. I'm going to go out and lovey-dovey on everybody. Just say hello to people you don't even know, right? Actually, I kind of do that a little bit. But anyway, when I'm in the green, don't catch me in here, though. So anyhow, so I go out and go out my day, and as the day goes on, maybe I start getting overwhelmed. And what happens, I start sliding down the scale. And by the end of the day, I may end up somewhere down here. Hell, I may even end up somewhere down here. I generally not. But I generally hang around this group. And I know my Be Positive tracks your dominant feeling or your average feeling over time. So all the feelings that you feel and incorporate into the app, it takes all those feelings and then comes up with one dominant feeling out of all those to give you like feedback, like, ooh, look at you, man. You're in joyful expectation. You've been in joyful expectation for 3 days. Good for you, right? So let's continue down the scale. Now, every person has their place on their scale where they live every day. Do we feel all these feelings? Absolutely. Do we have thousands of feelings? Absolutely. But there's a dominant feeling that controls them all. It's like the Lord of the Rings, one ring to control. It's kind of like that. So that's what we're looking for. We want to see what our dominant feeling is, because behind a dominant feeling, you have dominant thought. And that's what we're really after, right? And then those two things, when they agree, create behavior. If you watch the other intro video after downloading, if you haven't done that, make sure you do that. I talk about that. So the idea behind it is we want to find out where you live on the scale. Because by finding out where you live on the scale, it tells you a lot about yourself. A lot about your thinking, a lot about your feeling, a lot about your behaviors, your results, your feedback. This is why it's important, right? So let's say we're heading into the red feelings. Now you notice, I don't know if you can read that or not, action, signal, feelings. These feelings are telling you to take action soon. Sooner the better. Okay? And here's how it works. Let's say you wake up on a Saturday morning and you're bored to tears. You just don't know what to do today. Well, that's where you would be. And what happens if you don't do anything and you continue to be bored, you will drop down, things get annoying now. Oh, look at that guy over there, or look at that TV program, or whatever. And then you're like, oh man, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Oh, and then you start blaming, it's not my fault that I'm bored, and it's this. Do you see my point? And you just start going down and down. Now, this is why it's important that you understand where you are on the scale. Maybe you live worry. Maybe you worry 24/7. But wouldn't you like to be up in here? Wouldn't you like to live like in this here? You can. But what happens is, so we look for where we're at, and then there's a lot of variables that happen. The way you were raised, your personality. There's a lot of variables behind that. I'm not going to get into the details of that because I want to keep this scale simple. Once you find where you live on this scale every day, then that's enough inputs into the app. And generally 21 entries or above will give you a good indicator of where you are. Without data, you won't know. So you can look at the scale like, I think I'm just hanging out. I'm happy all the time. No one's happy all the time. Okay? No one's feels love all the time. Right? No one is blame all the time. Unless you live there. Then you blame everything. Even yourself. So the idea behind the scale is to help you identify where you are. Now, once you identify, let's say you use the app 21 times and you tend to hang up, you tend to be hopeful. After all the averages, remember, every single entry you put in, every single feeling you put in the app individually, and you might have excitement, you might have 3 happiness, you might have a couple blame, you might have 1 worry or maybe 4 worries, right? Let's say out of 21 entries, you might have an anger in there. Or you might have 12 annoyances. What the app does is it takes all those feelings you felt, it averages them to a dominant feeling. That's the one we're looking for. Because that could either be a troublemaker or an enhancer, right? And so the troublemaker we want to acknowledge, to imagine our feelings as children. These are the children of our thoughts, right? These feelings are children of our thoughts. So imagine that you are talking to a child. And what children want? They want a lot of acknowledgement and validation. That's just where they're at. And the feelings are no different. These feelings aren't against these feelings, and these feelings aren't against it. It isn't. They are They balance each other. They're there for a reason. It's the law of opposites. The yin and yang, right? You can't have one without the other. Can we be in a state more often than the other? Absolutely. But we're not, no one is, like I said, my average, I'll tell you mine, is joyful expectation. It's kind of like middle of the pack, not really, just below middle of the pack. But can I get up to love? So from here to love faster? Absolutely. Can I get happy a lot faster? Yep. Does it take me a little bit to get down here? Yep. Sure does. I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't get angry. It doesn't mean I'm butterflies and rainbows. That's not what be positive means. Most people they've mistaken that. Like, it's just, don't worry about it. It's just, baloney. Okay? When you feel your feelings, you feel them in the moment, whatever they are. Right? Because that's what's happening in the moment, whatever's coming your way. Now, let's say that I'm a worrier, and you notice that you, or maybe some of you, after using the app, you're worried. Well, what's going to happen is when you're putting in data in the app, especially when you're doing the feeling part, will the majority of this be worried? No. You might have 3 angers, you might have 4 blames, you could have a hate in there. You could all jump up to calm and be calm for a little bit. All those equal worry. Right? All those feelings equal worry. But these feelings are actually the action, think of them action signal feelings. And I actually learned this from a book signing that I had, that I went to, one of my books. And the author, he wrote a little teeny book called The 10 Emotions, Action Signal Emotions and Feelings. And I loved it. It's just a little thin book. This was 25 years ago. But my point was, it was fantastic. He had the right idea. So the idea behind the red feelings is to not look at them as bad. Oh, don't feel that way because you're not supposed to feel angry. Or you're not supposed to worry. And you're not supposed to. Those supposed to are all shoulds. I got that right here. Right here. Please, no shoulding on ourselves. Don't do that. Because it doesn't work out good. Anyhow, going back to the feeling. So, the idea behind the scale is to help you navigate your feelings and understand that these all matter. They're opposites of each other. They keep each other in balance. Right? And we have a right to feel whatever we're feeling. It's not don't feel that way. Well, why not? Just because you don't. So, my point is, it's not this tennis match about right or wrong feelings. It is what it is. So this is the idea behind the scale of the love and fear scale. And just think of think of a massive pie that has 20 slices, right? Half the pie is green with 10 slices. Half the other pie is 10 slices. Think of it like that. Each slice of the green is a slice of love. It's energy. This is really energy level. And I'll go into a different video for that. But all these feelings do have frequencies, literally in megahertz, in hertz. So, but they have energy. And as you descend the scale, as you descend down the scale, the energy goes down, not up. And you start going down. As you notice, makes sense, right? When you're really super depressed, do you have a lot of energy? No. Why? Because you got the weight of 19 feelings on your head. That's pretty damn heavy. And believe it or not, thought has been measured electronically. I experienced it myself. So you can measure thought. And so when you're down here, you're holding up all 19 feelings. That's heavy. That's like Atlas, man, holding up the get this world off my shoulder here, man. It's getting kind of heavy over here. It's like that. So the idea behind the scale is to help you navigate and locate your dominant average feeling. Okay? And if you have any questions regarding it, again, you can email me todaysyourday.go@gmail.com or B-posi+ive.com on the contact form. Send me a question. Love to hear from you, and or maybe clarification. All right? All righty. Thanks for showing up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.